Hey, how about you, everybody? Yeah, welcome into the latest edition of the Auburn Live Show, recruiting edition, also known as the River Freaking Pond. I'm your host, Jeffrey Lee, senior recruiting editor for Auburn Live on 3. If you're not a member of that site, it's only going to cost you $1 to get all the information that Jhead even brings to the table. Cole, myself, Justin Hokinson, Keith Niebuhr, man, they're leaving this special up for I don't know how much longer, but go ahead and get it involved. $1 for a freaking year. It is it's a blast of an offer. We've got a great show for you today, as always. We'll be joined here, as I always am, by Mr. Jhead and Mr. Cole Pinkston. Cole, how the hell are you, big dog?
I'm doing great, man. I had to slip out, put my hat on. I've been outside working a little bit. Had the sweat dripping down.
So, down your what?
Oh, what you got there?
Oh, wait a minute.
Huh? No, I was thinking the song from the 90s, Sweat Dropped Down My Soul.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
I can't remember what it was. Mr. Jhead, how the hell are you doing, big dog?
Doing good. Better than that Little John song you were trying to pull off there just a second ago.
Yeah. Little John?
Little John. And the East Side Boys.
Yeah, man. All of them crawl.
Well, we're expecting some technical difficulties with Cole today, folks. Cole just got moved in, his family, to a new home, I think in Lowndes County somewhere. So we're expecting that, but that's cool. We already got him introduced. People know he's here. When he comes back, we'll get him back on. Jhead, since we last spoke on the Shrivel Pod, Auburn has doubled its class size. Auburn had went from 2 commitments to 4 commitments and did so with 2 in-state 4-star kids and 4-star running back Jeremiah Cobb, who committed last Friday, and then Carmelo English kept the momentum going on the 4th. As I was peaking Whiteside Mountain in North Carolina, I got to the top, dude. I finally got some self-service, and Keith was like, "Carmelo English just committed." It's like, you gotta be kidding me, dude. You gotta be kidding me. But regardless, huge additions for several different reasons. Jhead, what are you thinking about these 2 guys?
Well, first of all, you coined it perfectly, Jay Lee. It's huge. When you can land the 2 premier skill offensive players in your state in any given year, specifically in a state that's as talent-laden as Alabama, it's a really great pickup. But then when you look at the individual skill sets of what these guys bring to the table, they're almost a missing link for what we need offensively. Jeremiah Cobb is a one-cut running back that excels in his own running scheme. Really, I heard Cole make a comparison to Corey Grant, and from a speed aspect, I agree with that. But he's so much more fluid with his hands and catching the ball out of the backfield. He reminds me of a guy named C.J. Spiller from Clemson.
Really?
You may or may not have heard of him. Yeah, absolutely.
Is he the running backs coach there?
He is the running backs coach at Clemson now, but looks a lot like CJ did in high school. Very fluid, very natural athlete. Absolutely got speed to burn, can make a house call from anywhere on the field. But it's that ability to catch the ball that separates him from a player like Corey Grant to me. Really love that aspect of his game, and it's something I think you're going to see Tank featured a lot of this year doing, and something that they'll be able to continue on with Jeremiah, Damari, and obviously our main man from Mississippi, Jarquez Hunter. So
go ahead.
That takes you over to Carmelo English.
Mm-hmm.
What did we say we needed in this class? We needed an alpha dog wide receiver. Well, now you've got one. Now, he's not the biggest guy in the world. He's only going at about 5'11" right now, maybe 180 pounds, I would say, but looks a lot like Jarvis Landry to me. Extremely strong hands, very fluid route runner, a guy that has a surprising vertical, can go up in phase and make plays on the ball. Just that ability to play inside and outside. I mean, he reminds you of those receivers that have been at Alabama for the last couple of years. Not the biggest guys in the world, but just extremely athletic, poised, know what to do with the football when they get it in their hands. And it's great to get a kid out of Central Phoenix City. I mean, you said it on the Tuck Collins show the other night. The last guy we got was John Broussard. That's what, 2014 class?
I think he's a granddad now.
Yeah, I'm telling you, so – it's been a minute, and it's great to get back into a school that, has as many prospects as that place, and to get a guy that says quality and athlete and football player as Carmelo English.
And not only a football player from Central Phoenix City, but let's just talk about or think about the wide receivers that they've had that Auburn's missed on. Justin Ross, E.J. Williams. I know there were 2 guys. Was there a third?
2 guys for sure.
In other positions. that Auburn just could not break the seal at Central Phoenix City. And I know a lot of people were at the time blaming Jamie DuBose, which I never really understood. It seemed like he did all he could to help his kids regardless of where they went. But, to have Patrick Nix there, I don't think Patrick Nix was, pushing Auburn at all on this kid. I think this kid saw Ike Hilliard, had a relationship with him from the first time he met him, and was like, this is the guy I want to learn from, play under, and develop me. It's close to home for him, and it's all the pieces of the puzzle fit. And I know a lot of Auburn fans a week ago, he was expecting or scheduled to announce his commitment on July the 2nd, which was going to be Jeremiah on Friday, Carmelo on Saturday, and then 3 or 4 days before that, Carmelo says, I'm going to reschedule. And everybody's starting to flip out. And we did our best. I think Keith posted that he's still here in Auburn. I posted, hey, man, it has nothing to do with other schools, although they did try to get in there after they saw he postponed. But Auburn was very confident. I was very confident after kind of knowing the backstory there. For perception sake, I feel like there he is. I feel like Auburn had to have these two guys. I mean, they really did.
I agree. I mean, like you said, from a perception standpoint, those were as much a have to have in this class, I think, as there are. I mean, even more so than Brock Glenn or even Keldrick Falk, who I'm sure we'll get to later on in this podcast. Sure. But these are two guys because defensively, you've done a really good job of kind of stacking talent. Offensively, I think those were some definite need areas last year where you probably didn't have as much depth at running back as you would have liked. Even though you had a frontline guy in Tank and a guy in Jarquez, you could have used a third running back other than Sean Shivers. And I'm not trying to bag on Sean. I just don't think he was necessarily big enough for the SEC or his game necessarily fit what we wanted to do on offense. Definitely could have used a wide receiver of Carmelo English's talent last year. Now, I think we've mitigated that some with some of the additions in the portal and the maturation of some other guys on this team. But, you brought in two really good football players that fit what you do from an offensive philosophy standpoint, and they're local. I mean, they're within an hour of your campus. Got to have those kind of kids.
Cole, we were catching up, man. I told everybody you're moving into the new home, probably going to have some difficulties through this transition.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Jhead and I were talking about the two commitments this past week. Jeremiah on Friday and Carmelo on Monday.
Yeah,
July the 4th, whenever the hell that was. Yeah. Cole, what do you think about those two guys, man?
Well, I classified them as just strong offensive weapons. I think Jeremiah Cobb is a guy that's got a lot of burst and speed. We talked about that when he committed, and a guy that fits the zone run scheme that they want to do. And I think they're going to do pretty heavily this year with Keesaw, and Harsin likes to do that as well. So, when they saw him and they saw him start to mature and start to add some more muscle, I think they started to like him more. And you'll see his senior season. I mean, I don't see how he won't go for 2,000 yards again. He's done that twice now. So the dude's just electric. And then you got Carmelo English, who on the message board I compared him to Eli Stove, and some people were like, I think he's better than that. Well, my point is, I don't think he's going to be used like Eli Stove. I think he'll be utilized better. But Eli Stove had some just gamer ability where when he gets the ball in his hands, he makes stuff happen. He gets upfield. He always makes the most of what's in front of him. I think Carmelo English is that guy too. And I don't think he's going to get screens and stuff all the time. I think he's going to be a more complete receiver.
Thank God, man.
I agree, Cole. And I comped him probably to Jarvis Landry. That's who me and Jay Lee were just talking about. I see what you're saying with Eli. I think the difference for me is that Carmelo's vertical. I mean, it's insane what he can do for his size to be able to go up and make plays on the ball in space and in phase. That's the difference to me between Eli. But I see the comp from a size and ability standpoint that you're making there.
Well, that's a good point, Jhead. To me, he has another element to his game when you can throw him a fade and he can go up over guys that are taller than him or the same size and win those 50-50 balls. That's another element that you add to, open field missing being able to make people miss and things like that. That's he's got a unique package, I think.
Agreed. When you see a guy that's 5'11" Mawson guys, you just don't usually see that, right? That's not
Right.
that's
right.
not typical.
I'm glad Cole was with me on that.
Yeah, I knew as soon as I said it.
Now, I don't know if it was Cole or Keith or it might have been you, Jhead, but somebody posted some camp videos of Carmelo. I thought, to me, that was more impressive than what I saw from his game film. And I just, I watched his game film. I'm more of the where's he going guy than is he any good guy. But the game film, the one-on-ones in that camp setting, combine settings, God, you talking about the vertical going up over people on fades in the end zone, the corner of the end zone, getting his feet down. I watched that and I was like, oh, okay, I get it now. Like this dude's really good. He's really good. He is I always say he's either good, really good. This guy's really good, in my opinion. Big get. I think to go ahead and get him locked in with a running back. Now you potentially a quarterback who I think we're all agreeing that Brock Glenn seems to be trending elsewhere. At least we're not hearing a lot of buzz about Auburn. He's been pretty quiet. A lot will depend on where he goes as far as the Novosad kid. Was he going to go to A&M, Baylor, Ohio State? But I've been hearing for a week or two now, but Florida State feels pretty good about Brock Glenn.
They do. And that's kind of the general consensus. If he doesn't, so like you said, what happens with Novosad is a big deal, and he's supposed to make his decision within a week. Right now, a lot of people seem to think that A&M's running third. I thought that they were going to be able to flip him, but that Baylor feels very confident about keeping him. If they keep him, what does that do with Ohio State in their pursuit of Brock Glenn? So I think there are some dominoes there yet to fall. And obviously, Auburn's still in contention right now. They haven't relinquished, pursuing him to this point. So we'll see if they can change his mindset. But if he does go elsewhere, I'm interested to your guys' thoughts as kind of maybe who some of those next targets might be, or do we just bypass that situation and go to 2024?
I would say right now there's nobody on the board that Auburn would heavily pursue. I think they would look at 2024, the kid from Savannah. What's his name? Of course, Eric Prentice Nolan is probably going to be your top target.
Right.
There's that kid from Savannah. I think he's at Holden Garner School or one of his
Is
rivals.
it Merklinger? Jake
Yeah,
Merklinger?
that's it. I believe that's it. Sure is.
Yeah.
But,
And then Posey from Miami.
But I really feel like Auburn feels like they're in a good spot with both of those guys. And I really feel like Auburn feels like they're going to be in a lot better position next year at this time. And, we talked about Keldrick Falk earlier. We Rockwez McElderry committing to Alabama. So Auburn went 2 for 4 this past week. And, I wanted to reach out and because we've been saying, listen, man, stability for the Auburn coaches right now, the February failed coup from the powers that be, whomever they are. I don't know. I'm not saying any names because I don't know any of them. I'd love to drink a little bourbon with them one night.
Oh, yeah.
But it has affected. Now we tell that, and some people on the corner, our message board there, it's almost like they don't believe us, and that's fine. I completely understand that. Like we're making excuses for them, and I understand that too. But man, I have had communication with guys, recruits as families, who chose other schools over Auburn as a finalist for them, and it's 2 of them now. I don't want to say who they are, but because they entrusted me with this. But both of them said the instability. We love Parson. We love the position coach. We love the other guy that was recruiting. When it came down to it, it was all about stability.
Yep.
That was straight out of the recruit's parent mouth. That was their biggest. We love everything about Auburn. We love the coaches. We love the environment. We love the atmosphere. Would have likely chose Auburn, but the instability there is being the biggest concern, and these other schools were more stable. That's what it came down for them. Now, they also say, listen, Auburn is still coming after us, and we're still going to be open to looking at how things, if things change, which is what we've kind of been telling people. Like, win this season, make noise this season, and it's a whole new day for this recruiting class come November, maybe even October, depending on the start that we're I don't know, hoping or expecting. But I thought that was what a very enlightening conversation I had with two different parents of two different recruits who committed elsewhere over Auburn, and both of them said it was because of stability or the lack thereof.
Well, Jeffrey, once we've built these relationships with the guys that we interview and we learn from them and still talk to them after they commit elsewhere because, there's still time to go. Who knows what might happen?
6.5 months.
Just like you talk to parents, I mean, I'm not going to dive into all the conversations I've had, but basically the consensus is, Auburn's still in the back of my mind. I mean, I really am pulling for that coaching staff. I like the coaching staff. Nobody said, I don't I don't really care about Auburn anymore. It's always, I'm still watching what they're going to do. Still watching them. I get that one a lot. So, I mean, that's why we say the things we say, because that's the consensus from the recruits.
Geldrick Falk, I don't know if you guys saw this. Jhead might have. He's a good peruser of the interwebs. But Geldrick Falk told Warchant, which is with Rivals now, I believe, might be making a move soon. But regardless, Warchant, the biggest FSU site in the country or whatever. I had an interview with Geldrick Falk, and Geldrick Falk said it came down to two schools, Clemson and Florida State. Mm-hmm. Auburn finished third, maybe third, at most, at highest third. And that was shocking to me. I think to a lot of people. Although I mean, I never, not in the last 2 weeks though. Since I've been here in Florida State, feels good. But I thought the lack of stability there, the lack of, and I hear you on this too. People are like, well, "You think Florida State's more stable?" I understand that.
It's a different version of stability, right?
You're exactly right. You're exactly right.
So, yes, Mike Norvell has probably not lived up to his billing to this point. And yes, he got beat by an FCS team in Jacksonville State last year. But what I will say is that the alumni behind him and the board of trustees behind him is supporting him completely. And there has not been any buzz at all from Florida State's camp about Mike Norvell being on the hot seat. In fact, they are putting out the message that everything is fine, that Mike Norvell set the expectation there that the first 2 years it was going to be rough, and that they're sticking with him on it. Now, what actually happens, who knows? You know what I mean? Because what's being told and what happens behind the scenes are two totally different things.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Exactly. But what happened for us in February is a very ugly black eye that not just one school or two schools are using against us. It is everybody in the SEC that we recruit against and everybody in the ACC that we recruit against that's in our regional footprint. If you don't think that those schools are telling kids, hey, don't commit there just yet, that coach isn't going to be there in 6 months. Yeah. And I'm talking about that's verbatim, probably the pitch that they're saying. Then I don't really know how else other to tell it to you. And that's hard. When you've got a parent that's involved, you guys are parents. I'm a parent. If my son's trying to make a decision and 10 schools are telling that kid, hey, I don't care how much you like them, that coach isn't going to be there in 6 months. If you don't think that's not going to affect their ability to make a decision, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're probably not being honest with yourself.
Well, you're talking about the two different, Florida State and Auburn, two different types of stability or instability there. The narrative for Auburn is just bad nationally right now because of that whole blow up. I mean, that's why they're predicting them to win 5 games everywhere, right?
I think so.
We specialize in Auburn, but these national pundits, whatever you want to call them, they look at all of college football, but they look at it as, okay, they had a bunch of dudes transfer out, got a coach from a totally different place. Recruiting's terrible. They see those things. Do what?
You sound like Baumhauer, and that's coming from you. All right, hold on. Go back. So there's a different type of instability. You're talking about the national pundits, and correct me if I'm wrong. They're seeing that big picture of Auburn, the national.
Yes, yeah.
The team says 10,000-foot view.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And that's what most recruits are seeing.
And that's what they see, and that's why they, predict 5 wins for Auburn, and that's why they still give Florida State. Oh, there might be some hope for Florida State. You hear that more than you'll hear it for Auburn. So, man, that's what they're dealing with right now. I mean, we can't make it any more clear.
Wouldn't you want to know, like, okay, Norval's coming off his losing season. Harsin is too, and the biggest difference between those two guys that inherited troubled rosters,
Yes.
chemistry, culture, environments around the team is that the biggest difference is there wasn't a failed coup to fire Norval. Like Jhead said, listen, we're behind him, at least in the public eye. Now, they might be drinking bourbon on Friday night in the back booth of McAllister's and down in Tallahassee going, hey, if this dude doesn't win 8 games this year, we're gone. But, hey, let's build this recruiting class up. Let's don't give anybody stuff to use against us. And Auburn said, and whereas Auburn went, use it, man. We don't. I mean, not that they said use it, but it was like, here you go. Here's all the ammo you're going to need to sabotage this recruiting class.
Yeah, they supplied the ammo, exactly.
Which is why much respect to Terrence Love, to
Yes.
Braden Joyner, to Carmelo English, to Jeremiah Cobb, dude. How can you not respect those kids going, man, I believe in this coach so much so that I'm going to give him my commitment right freaking now.
Yeah.
I agree.
And you're talking about 3 4-stars and a high 3-star. These are not just in-state kids that are being overlooked. They got people that are recruiting them too.
Yeah, multiple Power 5 school offers for each of these, and I'm SEC offers. You know what I mean? Not like, hey, Colorado also offered me. You know what I mean? No offense.
Right, exactly.
Colorado Buffaloes, and hopefully they end up in the Big 12 again here soon, whatever. But, I mean, these are legitimate powerhouse programs that are coming after these kids. I mean, I think it came down to Florida, Tennessee, and Auburn for Terrence Love.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He wasn't hurting for a place to go. Jeremiah English picked between Michigan and Kentucky and Auburn.
Carmelo, yes.
Yeah, Carmelo, excuse me. Braden Joyner picked between Auburn and Georgia. So it's not like, these kids were looking, stressing for offers. These are kids that legitimately want to be at Auburn, that believe in Coach Harsin, that want to play here for our university. And we should be very, like you said, hats off to them for being able to commit in the middle of all that.
They have a lot more resolve than several posters on our board. We'll get to that later. But so we're in the dead period, have been for the last 9 days, and will be until the 27th, I do believe. And then, of course, that last weekend in July will be open, our quiet period, where you can visit and have in-person contact with coaches. We already reported that Auburn's going to have their Big Cat weekend that weekend, and we started trying to build a preliminary list, a running list, and so far, let me tell you what sticks out to me. And here, let me give you guys, I know y'all know who it is, but the listeners at home, these are the guys that we have confirmed so far. Like they're in, we're coming. You got the 4 commitments: Jeremiah Cobb, running back; Carmelo English, wide receiver; DB Terrence Love, and Braden Joyner. And then you've got the 4-star defensive lineman who is at Hines Community College, former 4-star defensive lineman at Texas A&M. He transferred. He's going to spend this fall at Hines Community College. Derek Hunter. He'll be coming in that weekend. And then 2 offensive tackles. We talked about Auburn expanding the offensive line board. Well, here you go. I think some people were complaining, you're putting all your eggs in these 4 or 5 baskets, and that was the complaint. And so now here you are with some new guys in Jatavius Shivers, big offensive lineman from the Atlanta area. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then Janoris Wilson, another huge, massive dude down in Florida. Both of those guys are coming up for Big Cat weekend. Offensive line, offensive tackle, and you've got 2 guys that you got a really good shot with.
Yeah.
I agree. And I haven't watched Jatavius Shivers yet, but I've watched a lot of Janoris Wilson's film. Listen, he's a tackle to me all day, and he's got a nasty streak a mile long. And I think he played at a little bit smaller of a school this past year, but he's going to be playing. I think he's in Polk County, which is, Keith has hit it multiple times. That is one of the most talent-rich football counties in the entire state of Florida. And I believe he's going to be playing for Lakeland High this year, which everybody knows Lakeland High has been a powerhouse program in that state. So you're going to see him get some marquee matchups this year. And I'm telling you, his star's on the rise.
Jatavius Shivers, Villarica. I'm sorry, Villarica.
Okay.
He sort of reminds me of Jalen Farmer from last cycle.
Yeah.
Just the way he's coming about. Not necessarily his film, but I mean his film is similar in that he is nasty the same way that he was.
Oh yeah, he's a big time finisher. Love him as the right tackle in this class. If we can pull the string on that one, that would be a fantastic pickup for us.
And then 4 other guys who gave me a maybe, and I, from talking to people, they expect them to be there. But 4-star linebacker Jaden Osbury coming up from New Orleans, expect him to be there. Although he was didn't give me a total confirmation, but sounds like he's in. And even Kelton Smith, the 4-star offensive tackle from Carver and Columbus, who's kind of been in and out. He's kind of a wild card dude in this recruitment. Some of those guys from Columbus tend to be that way. Kelton, another guy to keep an eye on, another offensive tackle to keep an eye on. And then you've got linebacker Marcelius Pulliam, who I think y'all have loved from early in the recruitment. I think both of y'all, Cole, at one time you thought Auburn was a leader for him. Might have had a couple of guys on the board higher than him, but they've since thought so keep an eye on.
They're definitely still, they want to keep the communication line going with him. They're keeping him warm or whatever you want to call it, or they do have an offer on the table for him supposedly. So definitely somebody to keep in the back of your mind, and he keeps coming on visits. So
yeah,
what I love about him is he's a true Mike linebacker. I mean, he is an inside linebacker all the way, can play downhill, get off guards.
Yeah.
Plays the run extremely hard. So really like his game and the fit, because if you can get a Jhead Osbury who's more of a weak side linebacker, and then plug him next to a Mike like that kid, that's a pretty good linebacker class.
Yeah, well, Pulliam's he's just physical, and you don't. That's sort of I'm not going to say it's a lost art with linebackers, but people are going for the athletic linebacker now, and you need those guys, but you also need a thumper.
Yes.
You got to have it.
You do. We got a thumper in this last class, and the kid from Williamson. We needed another thumper in this class, in my opinion, and I think he can be it. And if you can also add, the kid,
Lewis Carter.
Yeah, if you can also add a Lewis Carter or a Jaden Osbury to go alongside
right,
that's a really good linebacker class.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Lewis Carter at this time, as head coach Jarris McIntyre told our Florida site that he's expected to go to Florida's Friday Night Lights is Friday night, and then they're having the barbecue Saturday. He's expected, or was expected to. I know Auburn is still pushing to get him here, but as of now, Lewis Carter is expected to go to Florida. Another guy we're going to be keeping an eye on, Joshua Horton, the Langston Hughes crew, basically.
Yeah.
If you get one, you're probably going to get them all to come visit. And Terrence Love's already coming. Joshua Horton might come, is expected to come. Then you've got Bo Hughley, and you've got is it Prentice Nolan? Is there another one? Oh, Jelani Thurman.
Yeah, Jelani Thurman.
Yeah. And speaking of 2024s, Cole, you've confirmed 2 guys already. Are Amon Lane?
Amon Lane.
He's a dude too, right now. I mean, this is.
Yeah, 4-star guy he was at Thompson last year. Is now transferred to Moody. Told me his dad took the head coach job at Moody, and they transferred there. And got a top 2 of LSU and Auburn, and he thinks he's about ready. Is what he told me.
What's your feeling on him?
Man, he talked about his grandmother being a huge Auburn fan growing up, and that made him an Auburn fan. And he said she's the one that actually taught me football at a young age. I thought that was cool. Kind of sounded like Roger McCreary, where his mom kind of played football, and her name was Icebox or whatever. So, yeah, man, he's grown up an Auburn fan. And, that's almost like a curse, but the way he talks about it, it feels like he still is. He still has that affinity to Auburn, and his family does. And he said, if I stay in the state of Alabama, I will go to Auburn. He said that is how it'll be, and it's right down the road. He said I've spent a lot of my life near Auburn, in Auburn. He said so. There's just that comfortability factor there, and I asked him, when could a commitment come? He goes, I think I'm getting close. He's like, I'm not into all that graphics and dropping the top schools and all that. I just want to do it.
Yeah, he sounds like a Harsin kid already, doesn't he?
The other 2024 in-state kid is did you want to finish something, Jhead?
Bonus question. Who's the last football player we signed from Moody High School?
Oh, man. Moody.
Hey, Lee, you'll remember this.
Can you
give
me a year?
Who's?
Gene Shizik's first class.
Oh, I know who it is, I think, but I can't. I remember there being somebody from Moody.
Big Chad Slade.
Oh, Chad Slade. That's right.
I'm so embarrassed. Of course, it was Chad Slade. Yeah,
Chad Slade
Chad
turned out to
Slade.
be a dude, didn't he?
Hell yes, he did. He was a 3-star kid from Moody that nobody really wanted.
No,
And people bitched when Auburn got him.
except for
Now
Jeff
he-
Grimes.
Now he's drawing retirement checks from the NFL.
Sure is.
I think so.
Yeah.
Pretty
Yeah,
sure we
he's-
saw. Didn't we see Chad on the sideline at a game last year,
Yeah.
Jeffrey? And we were going, now who is that recruit? We hadn't gotten it with him yet. And then he turned around. It was Chad Slade. I was like, good gracious, he looks good, man. He's still in shape.
Listen, I think he was just in the NFL, about a year or so ago. I mean, I
Yeah,
don't
I don't know that he's retired, but he's been there, right? I mean,
yeah.
been in the league for a minute.
Sterling Dixon is the other 2024 guy. The only two we've got confirmed. But listen, this 2024 class is going to be big for this Big Cat weekend.
Yeah.
There might be more 2024s there than there are 2023s. And I'm not trying to set anybody up for failure on the 2023 class. I'm just telling you how it is and what Auburn's going about with this Big Cat weekend. They're getting these guys, especially from in-state and Georgia and the panhandle of Florida and maybe even south, to get their ass to Auburn for this Big Cat weekend. They want to start building these relationships, developing them even more with these 2024 guys. But I still expect to see, 20 plus 2023 guys there.
Yeah. I was told a little while back, it's been a while now. If Harsin and all them can make it through to that 2024 class, they're already killing it with those guys. Like, they're doing such a good job with the relationships with those guys. And of course, they've had a longer time to do it, caught them younger, and now they're growing up and they know them growing up, and that helps. But I've talked to two guys so far, or just really in depth with two guys so far from the 2024 class, and they love Harsin.
Yeah.
They love Auburn, and they got Auburn in their top, 2 or 3.
Who was that other one you talked to last night, Cole?
Receiver Mario Craver from Clay Chalkville High School.
He's a stud, right?
Absolutely. In fact, he was one of the biggest standouts at that Under Armour camp I went to, and he was like one of the youngest guys there. So he's the real deal, and he's thinking about coming as well to Big Cat weekend. Potentially
being there.
Yep.
Is he? He's listed at 5'9", but I guess at 16, everybody's pretty much 5'9", right?
He was probably younger than 16 when they got that.
I was probably subbed that at you know what I mean?
Yeah, me too. I guess I would. I didn't get to 6 feet until I was in college.
He's not a bigger guy though. I mean, I've seen him somewhat recently. Yeah, I mean, he kind of reminds me of Marquarius Squirrel White that was at Clay Chalkville. But he might
Tennessee.
Yep.
Well, I'm curious to see how many more. We've got several calls out, some feelers out to these guys who's coming. May not know up until, how this is, man. You may not know who's coming until 3 or 4 days before the Big Cat. We thought we would do everybody a service and start getting early. So at least some of these guys who know that they're coming and go ahead and putting them out. Of course, you've got some dingleberries on the corner who think this list is final, and there's 3 kids coming to Big Cat. And no matter how many disclosures I print in bold, black, underline, whatever, they seem to just just look right over that. So here's a reminder, man. We've got a running list of Big Cat guys. We've got several already confirmed. We've got several guys confirmed that they're not coming. Keith told us that Quay Rosal and James Smith are going to be in Florida that weekend.
Yep.
I talked to Wilkie Denod. His fall camp is starting, so he won't be able to make it. So there are some guys that were – Lewis Carter right now is on the not attending list. We talked about him earlier. Potentially could change that and end up at Auburn. So we've got a running list, and nothing is final, and it won't be until July the 30th, when the morning of July the 30th. There's no telling what will happen between now and then. So be patient, man, and just be grateful that those guys are confirmed. I don't think there's any reason to be negative on a running list. And if it is, it's our fault for not having confirmed more guys. But we can only. I'm not putting guys on that list that haven't told me, yes, sir, I'm going to be there.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be doing your job as a journalist if you did.
I'm not doing that.
And how many guys do you guys think this staff is going to keep quiet that they don't want people to know about until the day of or something? I mean, that happens every year because
Every year.
you don't want your competition to know who's coming to campus because it's going to amp up the pressure.
And especially guys that are committed elsewhere.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
That was a
Right.
big drive. And I understand that, the Big Cat being after the official visits, but I think didn't have much of a choice now with this timeline moving up. Everybody's taking official visits in May and June. And, when are you going to work in a Big Cat then and compete against official visits? So you look for that last weekend in July and do the best you can, man. I think what we talked about with the instability, Auburn was probably never going to be getting a lot of early commitments. I think we had it at 6 or 8 beginning of the season.
Yep. I had 8 to 10. You guys had 6 to 8. That was
Around 8.
Yeah.
And I still think that's doable.
I agree because you still got a guy like J.C. Hart that could pull the string
Right.
any day now. I honestly believe that. And I think there are a couple of other guys that are probably within a hair's chance of making a commitment to Auburn. So you're not far off from that 8 that we all thought that you might could get to.
Yeah.
And that's impressive when you go back and you talk about kids that want to play right now for Auburn. They don't want to wait and see. Although I completely understand kids wanting to wait and see, like you said, being a dad or a mom or anybody else with a child, I understand that. But I think all this is going to be moot by the time October, November rolls around. We'll know where this team is, this program is headed.
Yep.
And which will in turn tell us where this recruiting class is headed.
Right.
Anything else, fellas?
No, I think you guys knocked it out of the park today, fellas.
Nothing really to look. I mean, we're waiting to see what Brock Glenn's going to do.
Yeah.
That does bring me back to one name, and you and Keith both mentioned him kind of in passing. I'm keeping my eyes on Emory Williams. I saw, I've been following this kid for about 2 years. He's out of Milton, Florida, so he's right there in the Panhandle. Did okay at the Elite 11, but has a big-time arm. Reminds me a lot of Zach Calzada. I think he's a guy he's committed to Miami, but it's obviously a 2-quarterback class where Jaden Rashida is, he's the alpha dog that's committed there right now. I think there's an opportunity for us to potentially get on Emory Williams if they do a thorough evaluation and like what they see. I think there's an opportunity there for us to make a move.
Well, I mean, if nothing else, man, are they going to give the same NIL deal to Williams that they're giving to Rashada?
I seriously doubt they're going to give the same deal to Emory Williams that they gave to Jaden Rashada.
It could come down to that if he stays with Miami.
$2 million in quarterbacks. John Ruiz has got far more money than I thought. That's for sure.
Yeah.
He's going to prison, I saw.
John Ruiz?
I don't know. Shit. I saw he was being investigated. That's what it was, maybe.
Oh, the NCAA,
okay.
it came down to do what he called a conversation.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, things to look forward to. Auburn, the quarterback position. Who else is going to be added to Big Cat? Who's going to be taken off? I don't have any announcements other than Brock Glenn to keep an eye on. I can't think of anybody else off the top of my head. So we ask everybody to be patient.
Yes.
Be patient, man. Be patient with this class. Be patient with this program. You heard it from recruits and recruits' parents. They want to see what these guys are doing. That's the biggest issue right now with Auburn recruiting. It's not Will Friends sucks and oh God.
I see that. I got about
shut up.
I got about 6 or 7 Will Friend questions on my Ask Pink thread there. So
they want to know when Will Friend's going to be fired and Joe Bernardi's going to be promoted.
yeah, really. I mean,
this dude didn't just get to Auburn and forget how to recruit.
No.
He's trust me.
Christian Robinson didn't get to Auburn and forget how to recruit.
No.
All right, there's a product that they're selling that they're having trouble selling to recruits. And it's because of the powers that be that started this shit back in February. If you want to go bitch to them.
It's like selling a ketchup popsicle to a woman in white gloves, right?
Hey, day in the morning, man. I swear to God. Oh, my God. All of a sudden, these people just got to Auburn, and now they can't recruit anymore. Well, what's the common denominator there, big dog?
Yeah.
It's a shitty product right now. And it ain't got nothing to do with these coaches.
No.
It's a tough sell. But we've said it before. They've got somehow have themselves in position that if they have a year that they think they're going to have, it's going to all work out, and all you're gonna look bad.
Which, by the way, the 4 guys they've got in the boat right now, you should go. If they can get those 4
That ought to tell you
with
something.
all this going on,
Yeah.
What can they do when they put 8-9 wins on the board?
right? Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm curious to see. We all should be.
That felt good. I needed to get that off my good. Oh man! All right, hey. Although we have had some troubling fans posting on the board, we've had some really good posters this week, man. I got several. How about you, man? How about you, Jhead?
Yeah, I got one in particular. Well, I'm going to shout out 2, but the other 2 are going to be different from this first one. The first one's going to be Bo is great. Said some very complimentary things on the board about our show and what we've been trying to do. You know what I mean? With what we've been given to work with in certain spots. So I want to thank Bo is great, very much so. I also want to thank Love Stumps, who is, he absolutely loves my voice. Can't get enough of it. Him and Molester Stallone. You know what? In fact, these guys don't know it yet, but DM me your address, because Zach's going to be able to outtake my audio, and I'm going to send you a tape so you can use it as your own sound machine at night when you go to sleep.
Jhead, I hate to bust your bubble on this, but Love Stump, he's been yeeted.
Yeah.
No,
I saw a line going through his name
Don't
last
come in here and talk about my boy. All right, you gone. That's a quick way to be gone.
Appreciate you, brother.
Got your back, Jhead.
Bo's great. You got Love Stump, who's been yeeted. And who else you got?
I got Molester Stallone, who came in and made a nice joke about it. Said, can't do certain things when my voice is on the air. But, hey, Molester, if you're doing that while my voice is on the air, baby, we got something else to talk about.
Oh, boy.
Oh, they don't call him Molester for nothing there.
Yeah, they don't. Fitting name. Yeah, no doubt.
Cole Pinkston.
Yeah, I got 2. I'm going to go with AU Mike BK, and I think that's my second one to him.
Oh, yeah.
But, I laugh a good bit rolling through our board and reading some comments, but every once in a while there's one that just just catches me right, and his on your Wilkie Denard thread, Jeffrey, he goes, looks like we've been Wilkie denied. It was so good, man. And it's like dad humor, but that's what we are. So. And then my other one is Auburn Kitchens fan, because I just like his vibe. I like to go with somebody I like their vibe every week, and that's my guy this week.
I've got several how about you, man, because it was an up and down week for the message board. It really was, and you had a lot of. I will say this. Let me get my dingleberries out real quick.
There you go.
Yeah.
Now listen,
please get those out.
Dingleberries. Well, first of all, let me do yeeted. We talked about Stump, and Auburn Legacy got yeeted.
Whoa, there you go.
And then Auburn Legacy 1 got yeeted. And female dogs this week, which means they're on deck. Keep an eye on Seahorse and Taylor Made 2.
Okay.
Yeah, Taylor Made. Yeah.
And remember, guys, for female dogs of the week, a great business model for message board is addition by subtraction. I promise you. I've been doing it long enough to know that if I kick you out, I'm probably going to get 5 or 10 new ones.
Yeah.
I kicked you out. Okay. So those are the guys that are on deck. Now, Dingleberries, they're just they had a bad day, right?
Yeah.
Right? Dingleberries did okay. Kemosabe is your poster child for Dingleberry. That dude's hit or miss, man. Sometimes he's good.
Hey, I'm be honest with you, Kemosabe for the last 3 weeks has been fantastic.
Absolutely.
I really enjoyed some of his posts.
Absolutely. He will always wear the belt of the Dingleberry. But now, we had Dingleberries today, and it was so frustrating because I was posting all these disclaimers about the Big Cat Week, and I post, hey, man, there's been an update. I'm moving Janoris Wilson up to coming. I forgot about the former 4-star DT, Derek Hunter. I'm added him. And, here's the updated list of who's coming. Oh, my God, we've got 3 people coming to the Big Cat. So, Dingleberries of the day. How about that? Dingleberries of today, big dog Jhead F93. All right.
Oh, Jhead.
It gets worse, Cole. War 77 Eagle, Dingleberry. AU full time. I guess he was doing part time today because that one. And against the spread.
Oh, no.
Posters, man. He's like, they just need to quit and try harder next week.
Gosh, he was a dynamite caller too on the call.
All these dudes are awesome posters. It was a bad day, right?
Had a meltdown. Yeah.
I'm not condemning them. Hey, dude, I've had my Dingleberry days before myself. So
it happens, you just get to the end of your rope every once in a while.
Absolutely. Hey, they might have been having a bad day like I did. They just didn't have a big old lipper to put in like I did.
There you go. You don't want to see that group text we got going sometimes.
Yeah.
So great posters, man. They just it was frustrating that they were complaining about the freaking Big Cat list when it's 3.5 weeks away, and we've tried to make it anyway. But so we had some guys come to our defense, and here's who I've got. How about you this week for Danny Archer?
Hey.
Everybody knows Danny Archer. He might be alleged sunshine pumper, and sometimes he might be, but I'm okay with that. I've had him down for 2 times this week, Danny Archer. So a big how about you squared to you. Same goes for Tanaconda. Tanaconda times 2. Tanaconda, how about you squared? I got 4 champ. I got AU 925. I got Mr. 52. Stats don't matter. Doesn't get enough pub from us.
I agree.
And his loyalty to the site. Great poster. Junior Rosebud. Bud with a D. Junior Rosebud. I surely don't want Junior Rose Green thinking I was talking shit. I saw that dude about 2 weeks ago.
Woo!
He was like he was a junior in college. God,
I don't want no part, man.
No, sir. I want him on my side. Trust me.
Yes, sir.
Beef Stew 0702. Good poster, man. Tigers win 17. I love old Tigers. War Eagle 0. New poster. Kind of a lurker, but I see what you're doing, big dog. Law Tiger 3 came in today and was like, man, show some support. And Bobby Sweatpants was like, oh, these posts. And I'm like, dude, get rid of some of these not dingleberries, but female dogs of the week, and these posts wouldn't be needed. So how about you to Law Tiger 3? How about you to J3East.mode? I think that's J Beast Mode. You spelled it like a millennial would. And last but not least, P. Diddy 98.
Oh, really good poster.
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
Really good poster.
Again, the send-off this week was Love Stump 35 and Auburn Legacy 1. On the hot seat, we got Seahorse and TaylorMade 2. But listen, listen. Back to the Dingleberries, man. If you're not posting, you're not playing, right?
Yeah.
You're not posting, you're not playing. Chad F, War 77 Eagle, ATS, and Auburn Full Time, of course, Kemosabe. We appreciate y'all, man. Y'all just had a bad day.
By the way, guys, some of our new posters, they've got some great names they're coming up with.
Oh, damn it. Did you see Jay Lee's pink head?
Yeah, I was about to say Jay Lee's pink head. That was the one. I would say he probably found us through the live show or the podcast, wouldn't you?
Had to. I still, man, Terry Bowden's tie is my favorite.
Terry Bowden's tie is good. It is.
And pee poo poo head or something like
that. Cole Kublik's head wax or something like that. I saw that one.
Cole Kublik's head wax. I saw that. Yeah.
Hey, we got to go this week. Zach, as always, man, the biggest how about you to you. We appreciate what you do and setting this all up for us, man. Zach McKinnell. If you're not listening to his show, he does a great job on some of these G5 schools, and they got a show. Zach, come on here and jump in here real quick.
Yep.
What do you have? I think you've got a podcast coming up, the Blue Bloods. Good stuff, man. If you love college football, especially the G5,
FCS.
Ooh. Even better, dude. That's my level of competition there, man. Even in women. Oh! Well, hey, Zach, appreciate you, man. Hey, everybody, we're going to be back Tuesday night for the call-in show, Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. Look us up on YouTube at Auburn Live YouTube page, man. Give us a subscribe, a follow, whatever it is, thumbs up, whatever the hell you do. And we appreciate everybody listening, calling in Tuesday night. We're going to keep going on with our Big Cat list. Stay tuned on that. For Zach, for Jhead, for Cole, man, I'm Jeffrey Lee. We appreciate everybody. Stay out of the left lane.